Hey there guys, welcome back to Texas Beer Reviews, and on this episode we will be looking at the final Spon variant, or initial Spon variant. This is Flor. So this is their 2-year lambic style beer, spontaneously fermented 2-year-old aged beer. And it was aged in barrels that were next to sherry barrels. So not actually in sherry barrels, however, as they were tasting it as the beer was developing, they were picking up some of the microflora that was present in the sherry barrels in the taste. So kind of a one-off thing that will most likely never be done again, as it was kind of an accident. This was picked this up a couple weekends ago. It was 2 per person and 1,700 bottles made. And blended on February 15th, 2016, so early this year, comes in at 5.1% alcohol by volume. So,
the happiest of accidents.
The happiest of accidents. So they were pretty excited about this one, and I think this is a phenomenal beer. I've had it on draft, however, have not had it out of the bottle. Jake hasn't had it, so very excited to try it out of the bottle and see how it is. So, with all that said, let's get into it.
Run that cap off.
Of course, Jester King is out of Austin, Texas. I don't know what just fell.
Breaking things.
All right. Nice carb as usual. Let's check it out. Let's get a good old mix.
Clean your glass.
Dregs.
Ooh, buddy.
So it pours out a light, kind of a lemony, almost orange straw color. I feel like it's just a bit more orange tinted than the goose.
About the same level of haziness.
Yeah.
Got some more. I think I have more obviously solid floaties in this one.
Yeah, definitely.
At least from getting the final pour of the bottle.
Bottom of the bottle, I've got a pretty thin white ring of a head. He's got a bit more of a thicker head there.
Might be a glassware thing too.
Yeah, could be a glassware thing, but looks solid enough. So let's check out the aroma. Very similar to the goose.
It's got a more pronounced sweetness to it.
Yes.
Like you said, this was aged next to sherry cask.
Next to sherry cask.
This has sort of a sweetness one might attribute to sherry.
Sherry, yeah. It's got a bit of that fruitiness that kind of comes with that. Still getting a lot of funk as well. Some citrus. But yeah, it's got this fruitiness that kind of comes that you would expect from a sherry barrel, which is interesting because it, wasn't even in the sherry barrel. So, it smells pretty good, a bit unique. And yeah, check out the taste. Cheers.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, tons of citrus and funk, but that fruitiness, that kind of almost sherry, berry-like fruitiness really comes out, in my opinion.
But to me, this one had much more of an immediate puckering sourness to it.
Yes. The sourness
so much more.
is more intense than the goose, but I feel like it's incredibly spot on. Like puckering, not overwhelming, not acidic, and really just gives this beer this sort of brightness that's very, very, very awesome. Carbonation's effervescent, but the body actually, feels more of that, has that kind of fullness to it.
It's much. I think the bitterness is a bit lower, quite a bit lower.
Yes, bitterness is quite a bit lower. Definitely doesn't have that bitterness. A lot more of that kind of fruitiness. Like I said, it has this kind of, you get the, has that fruity sherryness quality. It also has this kind of like if it had been aged in red wine barrels, I could probably see that too, because it has this kind of like that great fruity type of berry thing kind of going on. But it's not just that. It's just this blend of this awesome, bright, intense acidity with the funk. However, it's not overwhelmingly funky. I think it all just comes together in a awesome, well blended beer. However, it's not subtle. It's very intense in flavor.
I wasn't really expecting this like immediate sourness of it.
This beer is.
Were you guessing? I was gonna say it's not overly acidic, but it's just like puckeringly sour.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
It hits you at the beginning. It lingers on, but it's not so acidic that it's overwhelming. I mean, it intense at first, and it lingers throughout, and it's awesome. This is the closest beer I've had to Driefontein and Zenny Frontera, which is their lambic aged in sherry casks. Even though this wasn't aged in it, this has the same kind of that robust, fruity-like quality to it, and everything else is very similar to it, which I find very, very awesome because I love that beer when I had it. So this is very, very close to that beer.
5 stars.
Yeah. So I really enjoy this one. I had it on draft, but this is much better out of the bottle. I feel like when I had it on draft, the aroma was more mild. This is much more intense aroma, and the acidity on it is perfect, and it doesn't have, I got a bit more of a bitterness on the back end on draft, and I don't get it here on the bottle. So for a rating, this is an easy 5 stars for me.
5.
And it's funny that this wasn't intentional, and I don't know if they could ever recreate this beer, because this beer is absolutely perfect, in my opinion. I don't think there's any way you could change it. I'm very interested to see how it ages. I don't know how you improve upon it, but yeah, there's so many good things going for this beer. Was definitely kind of a sleeper for me of the series, Very, very impressed with how it turned out.
Well, right down Sleeper Street.
Right after Sleeper Street. So, yeah, that's, I guess, pretty much it for Flor. So, if you have a bottle or want to trade for it, do it. I would say hands down, because this is probably the closest you'll get to Zenny Frontera without having to give up so much of what it takes to get that beer.
I didn't have that beer. I've never had any other beer like this of all the lambics that we've had together. So
yeah, it's definitely
pretty ridiculous,
very unique and a thing of its own. So, but it's pretty much it for Flor. So that would be all the Spon variants initially. They've got more to come. Hopefully we'll be able to grab some more. But until then, think global, drink local, and cheers.